Hey YouTube family, it's Daughter of the Most High. I have a video that I have been trying to make and there is opposition. I can always tell when there's opposition. Some videos just flow, this one is not. So this is about my 6th or 7th try and here I go. So we'll see if I can actually do this. The Lord has put it on my heart to share the information that I'm about to share. And I came across it a few days ago, and it was on Janie Duvall's channel. And it's an 18-minute video, which is an excerpt from a longer video with Tim Cohen on the identity of the Antichrist. And what's so interesting to me about this video is actually how they celebrated the Commonwealth Games of 2022, July 28th, and how they did that. That is my point to you. And the reason why I share that is because a couple months ago, I made a video on the triple helix. And that video for me had over 1,000 views, has over 1,000 views. And I think some people are surprised, at least some people, learning about how the British royals actually roll and what they believe in and who they follow and who they worship. And so this video that I'm going to share in a minute on my other phone, which is part of the excerpt from the lengthier video with Tim Cohen, is the footage of how they celebrated the event. And so I'm going to go ahead and set that up on my other phone. What they do is so appalling. I'm not going to show all of it. I'm going to show you a portion of it and then put the link in the description bar, or box rather. And on her video, when you open up the video, she has a link for the full interview if you want to listen to that. So I'll have the link for the 18-minute portion or excerpt from the lengthier one, but you can get the lengthier one on her video. So it's all going to be linked up. So give me 1 second. I'm going to set this up. Okay, here it is.
So folks, pay close attention. You're going to want to go look this up. And I give the full details completely documented in the second edition of the Antichrist and Cup of Tea. Here it is, July 28th at the Commonwealth Games, the 22nd Commonwealth Games for 2022. You have these every few years. They've been going on the whole time. The Queen Elizabeth II was queen. It's the largest set of international games in the world after the Olympics. And this year they had 72 nations and territories participating. Roughly, they estimate almost a third of the world's population potentially watching. Okay, the whole British Commonwealth. At this event, Prince Charles opened it in lieu of the Queen on her behalf. He oversaw the whole thing. He was there in person at the Alexander Stadium in Birmingham, England. Okay. At that event, a giant Molech bull, 10 meters in height, was rolled out into the center of the stadium to be worshipped and to face a large, rebuilt right there in front of everybody, mock Tower of Babel with shards in it. And it begins with a star exploding in our solar system. That's how they introduced this. A lot of CGI initially. They portray a star outside our solar system, or maybe deep in our solar system, blowing up past Saturn. And it explodes, a bright star like Lucifer. That's what it is, exploding. And its shards fly through our solar system, and they reach Earth. And they land in all the nations of the Commonwealth. And these 72 quote-unquote dreamers, New Agers, find these shards outside their homes. They retrieve them. The first person to do so is named Stella. She picks it up. It's lit. It's brightly lit. It's like a large quartz crystal. It's bright white, lit as bright white, like an interior light, as it were, bright white. She picks this thing up and she prays to it, whispers to it and prays to it. Then she takes this back to her home. All these others, these 72 dreamers, there's 72 of them total, including her, pick their shards up and they take them to their homes. As soon as they do, there are anti-gravity effects in their homes. Things start to float in the air, and then their homes are lifted up off the ground with these people in them, and they float across the Commonwealth from other nations and across the UK, across seas and oceans and lakes and forests and so forth, to Birmingham, England, to be over the stadium. All these homes floating over the stadium, and then they land. And the dreamers exit them in front of the audience, and they have the shards in hand. The bull then comes onto the stadium, pulled by slave women, slavish women on chains. The bull, they portray this, rebels and detaches from the chains. And these female slaves who've been driven like by somebody who's kind of like a Roman, you know, a demon, whatever. He didn't quite look like a Roman, are freed, right? So now the bull and these women are freed, and they pretend they're afraid of each other. And the bull goes on to the center of the stadium, and these quote-unquote dreamers, these New Agers, encircle the thing. But initially, before they do that, Stella comes with her crystal. She and 5 others, there are 6 of them, 6 of the dreamers, apart from these slavish women who are behind now on the bull, the either side of it as it's moving, kind of charging actually, into the center of the stadium. Okay, from the track from just outside where it's entered, you know, now detached from its chain, no longer restrained. Okay.
Okay, this is going to sound a little nuts, but the fastest and easiest way to make past
the center of the stadium, Stella, wanting to appease this thing so that they're not killed by this Moloch idol, goes with this New Age crystal, approaches it slowly with these 5 other dreamers. She's got the crystal in her left hand, and then she puts her hand up to the nose of the bull, and it bows down so that she can touch its nose with the crystal in her hand. She's the only one holding her crystal at that point. And the bull is, at least at that moment, appeased. And there's a whole backstory to this, and they say things, they announce things to the audience, you know, about peace, love, friendship, yada, yada, you know, conflict resolves, slaves freed, all this kind of stuff. And as this is happening, the slavish, and there are multiple stages to this, so I'm going to be skipping over some things, but this bull kind of calms down. It's facing the Tower of Babel this whole time. And at times there are flames like the towers, like the flames of hell all over this Tower of Babel, okay? You know, and it's facing this thing. The bull is. They encircle it multiple times, and they literally worship it. They've all got their crystals in hand. They bow down to this thing. And then later, Stella gets atop it and rides it as the woman riding.
I'm going to have to stop there because my arm is literally falling off from holding my phone. And this, again, I've tried making this video several times, so I've been holding my phone up longer than just the minutes on this video. Anyway, you get the gist of what they are presenting at these Commonwealth Games. And how many countries did he say? 70 some countries. And he shares more information. We got about, 10 minutes left of that excerpt, and then the full interview as well. And I'm just, even when I saw the footage for the Triple Helix, which was from Hugo Talks channel, like I said on that video, they're not even hiding anymore. It's so in your face, and so they're not hiding anymore. So this big Moloch bull and the crystals and the worshiping and the peace and the love. And so again, it does set up that whole, New World Order, peace. I will give, that whole thing. Now, do I think Prince Charles is the Antichrist? I don't know. I don't think so. I'd like to hear Tim's evidence, and I will listen to that at some point. He's been studying it for a long time. So I do want to hear that at some point. But my point to you is I am shocked and appalled by, how many people were watching this on July 28th? And there's no anything. There doesn't seem to be any shock or any ripple effect of what are they doing? What are they showing us? What does this symbolize? What does this mean? There's no question of anything. They just kind of blindly sit there and watch this like it's just a little movie or just a little way to celebrate the events, the games, and that's it. And here it's the very core of their being, who they worship, who they follow. It's the enemy and his kingdom, and they are all up there in that, the presidential suite of the games, the British royals. And I'm just sitting there watching this video, just shocked and so sickened by this. And I am not someone that followed, some people, like when I posted some information on my Facebook page about Queen Elizabeth and how she, served the devil. I know that's not light news or information around the time of her death, but I did share some information about what she really was about, just a little bit, not a lot. And I had somebody unfriend me, and I'm not a person that follows the royals at like almost at all, but I am so like sickened by what I have seen with not Princess, Queen Elizabeth lighting up the triple helix. I don't even know if she knows what she was fully doing. I mean, she was how old when she died? And I'm not sure she fully understood that, but they are serving the enemy, and they're serving the powers of darkness. And it's incredible to me that they can actually make a display like this and a display like the one with the Queen. I don't remember when that event was, but I made my video like 2.5 months ago, and it was sometime shortly before that. And how they're just front and center with what they believe, and it's kind of still got a little bit of a wink to it. They're not coming flat out, and they're celebrating the triple helix. They're celebrating it, and the messages are there, but they're not saying, hey, we got you guys, you're fooled, you've been taking this thing, and this is what's going to happen to you, and this is how it's all going to play out. So it's not, completely overt. There's still a little bit of covert to it, but boy, is it out there, in my opinion. And I wanted to share that with you because we are so in the end times, and it's so evident and clear to those that have ears to hear and eyes to see and aren't blinded by the system. That's the beauty of being a believer, is that you actually have ears to hear and eyes to see. We all have eyes and ears, but we don't all see and we don't all hear. And the Bible says that the enemy has blinded the minds of unbelievers so that they cannot see, the glory of God, the gospel of God, and that sort of thing. So the enemy's full of deception, and there's a lot of people following him. So I want to share this with you, and let you know that this video is available. As I said, I have not watched the lengthier video. I don't know that Charles is the Antichrist. For me, it doesn't matter that much who the Antichrist is. I know some people are very interested in that. I'm not as interested in it. My focus is just helping people to know the Lord, to continue my own walk, to share God's truth in these end times and that sort of thing. For me, there are people, if you read the comments below this, there are people that are saying, no, it's Trump, or no, it's Obama, or no, it's, how many? She's got 3,000. Okay, she's got 458,000 views on this excerpt alone, and then she's got 3,207 comments below it. And I always love reading the comments. I do. I read, and that doesn't mean I read every comment, but I really do enjoy reading the comments and interacting here and there. When people shut off their comments, for me, it's really hard because I think it's part of the whole video experience. And I know that they shut off their comments because they don't want to deal with opposition. But the fact is let's get it out there. And even if somebody is opposed, you know, to me, it's like, well, let's just deal with it. Let's deal with all of it. And so that's the information that I have for you today. And I will link the 18-minute excerpt. That 18-minute excerpt is the full video right below it. You'll see it. Otherwise, you can go to Janie's channel, Janie Duvall. She's got 12,000 subscribers. I'll have to look at some of her information there. Again, I am appalled by what they show and how they glorify the enemy. And they glorify the enemy, and then they talk about peace and love and unity and light. And it bothers me. I think the enemy, you are nothing but evil and rotten, and you talk about peace and love and light and unity, and it's all good, and you know, all that stuff. And he is just rolling, laughing in his evil debauchery, and they're buying into it. They're buying into his kingdom. They're buying into what he says like it's truth, and they're all deceived. And that breaks my heart. I don't want the enemy to win in anybody's life. And do you know that he is winning in many people's lives? Some serve him knowingly, some serve him unknowingly. So look for the link in the description box. I actually got through this. I can't believe it. Look for the link in the description box. I've been a busy girl making these videos lately. So we'll see what the Lord has for me up ahead. But have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you soon, family. Blessings.